Okay. Hello, my name is Brad Bodnerchuk, and welcome to the Half a Dozen Hospitality Podcast, where we discuss everything hospitality, from the food on the plate to the teams that make it happen and the community that drives this industry forward. On this podcast, we sit down and chat with some of the most exciting, inspiring, and innovative minds that make up one of the most dynamic industries that there is today. And today, I have the pleasure of being joined by none other than Jenna and Jacob from Lone Wolf Bakery. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us.
Happy Thursday afternoon.
Yeah.
Thanks for making time for the show. I appreciate you guys. Super short notice. For those of you guys who are just tuning in, I literally DM'd these guys in the background on Instagram about, 24 hours ago, 36 hours ago.
Yeah.
And I said, hey, I'm going to be in town. I'm going to bring my gear. What are your thoughts? And they were kind enough to facilitate me coming in and setting up shop. So thank you guys so much.
Absolutely.
So the first question that I always lead off the show with is the who, the where, the why, the what, the how, the when. You guys in food. So it doesn't have to be necessarily Lone Wolf, but just you guys in food. Take us back to the earliest memories you have where food truly impacted you and why you find yourselves where you are today.
Shoot.
Ladies first.
Absolutely.
I would say when I was 17, I started working for a company called the Chai Gallery in Vancouver. And that was my first experience with food.
Okay.
From there, it just kind of grew into working there and serving mostly.
Okay.
So mostly front of house is my experience.
Right.
And just loving the customer service aspect of things.
Cool.
In Vancouver, primarily I was with the Chai Group, and then worked for many years with Fable Restaurant
cool.
in Kitts. And
Shout out Fable.
Yeah.
Actually, Trevor's been on the show, and his podcast drops this coming week. So the dates are going to be all messed up with this, but bear with me. So
awesome.
Trevor was on the show a few weeks ago. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
A great guy.
Yeah. Awesome guy. Yeah.
And Jacob and I have lived in many different cities across Canada.
Okay.
In Toronto, I worked with Momofuku,
Oh, wow.
serving there as well. And when we moved back here, we were both not in the food industry at all.
Okay.
But we'll get into how that
Right.
Yeah, happened. How this happened, I guess.
Right.
Yeah,
And for those that are listening, where is here? We are where?
on the Sunshine Coast
Right.
in Seychelles.
Yeah. Beautiful.
Yeah,
And
beautiful
spot.
British
Seychelles,
Columbia.
BC.
Yeah. Okay, cool. That was a great Coles Notes version. Jacob, how about you?
I'd say my earliest memories of food are probably at home.
Okay.
Just being in the kitchen with mom.
Yeah.
Dinner together Sunday every night.
Okay.
It was never something I thought I would do beyond just cooking for family.
Okay.
And kind of fell into it after being a little jaded, being an athlete and
Right.
putting that life aside. What's the quickest job I can get? Kitchen.
Yeah.
So I think cooking kind of found me versus I found it.
Okay.
And then I noticed doing a stage at West
Yep.
in Vancouver that food was something very different
Okay.
than just like cooking food. Here's your food, eat your food. Watching people drag spoons on the table so they wouldn't get water on the plate, and it was just kind of like, whoa, like,
Right.
okay,
Different.
I think I found something here.
Yeah.
So bounced around all over the country as I think a lot of cooks do.
Mm-hmm.
Some things worked, some things didn't, and we'll continue to get into the story of why we're here.
Yeah. So why don't we just jump right into that? So why are we here? Why Lone Wolf? Why a bakery in Seychelles?
We moved to Seychelles. Jenna was born here,
Mm-hmm.
grew up here, left. We came back. Her family's here. The why is almost another one of those stories that it kind of found us.
Okay.
We've talked about doing something like this for as long as we've been together. Never put it together because we always had excuses as to
Yeah.
don't do this. It makes absolutely no sense to do this. We can't do this. We have no money. We have no resources. And then one day we're just kind of like, screw it. Like, stopped asking why or
Right.
how.
How
just
long
did.
ago was that?
In January
January of
of this year.
2018.
Yeah.
Wow,
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Jenna, how's it been for you?
Since opening,
Yeah.
amazing, a whirlwind.
Yeah.
Yeah. I would say every day is a roller coaster ride
Yeah.
of highs and lows for sure.
And what dictates a high for you? What dictates a low?
Well, I mean, even just like emotionally between the two of us
Yeah.
is super, super roller coaster.
That's mostly my fault.
Yeah.
But at the high, I think just like opening the door and people just coming in
Right.
is amazing.
Yeah.
Like,
So cool.
we opened not knowing how it was going to go.
Mm-hmm.
And even just if one person walks through the door that's excited to eat our bread,
Right.
that's amazing.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
Do you guys know the name Ray Dalio?
Yeah.
So
absolutely.
one of the world's richest men,
Mm-hmm.
super, super smart guy. And one thing I really appreciate from what Ray Dalio says is I think it's a 5-step to like tackling a task or going after your dreams. And the very first one is dream big and then dream even bigger. Do you guys feel like that is this for you? Was it a dream and then you just dreamt it even bigger and then made it happen? Or was it?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. It started as an idea.
Right.
And then kind of turned into a dream.
Mm-hmm.
Just an idea that was like shot back and forth and then forgotten for years, talked
Right.
about again, forgotten for years.
Mm-hmm.
And there
then
was there was never any set kind of like this is what we'll be doing at this place.
Oh, okay.
Like it was just very open to the industry.
Right. Oh, okay.
Period.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So how did you come to baking delicious bread and other accoutrements?
Bread is approachable. Everyone gets it.
Right.
Everyone understands it.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was a really good place to start because it's the ethos of what will continue forever.
Right.
Take a few things and turn them into something else
Right.
that otherwise you can't. And you take flour, water, and sea salt,
Mm-hmm.
and it seems like nothing to start with.
Yeah.
But then again, it turns into a loaf of bread, which turns into something the community can then walk through the door, and it just keeps turning into something else.
Right.
So the bread was a start.
Mm-hmm.
It's a comfort thing.
Mm-hmm.
There's no bread up here,
Right.
which is it's kind of crazy to me.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, it was a good place to start, and that's sort of where we'll grow from.
Right.
Show people what we believe in and gain their trust, hopefully.
Yeah. That's awesome.
And then just go from there. Mm-hmm.
I've mentioned a few times on this show before, and the author's name is going to escape me, but she wrote a book called Big Magic. She also is the author that wrote Eat, Pray, Love.
Okay.
And the premise, or what I took from the book, was inspiration is a living, breathing thing.
Mm-hmm.
And inspiration chooses Jacob or Jenna at certain times.
Totally.
And inspiration is an idea, let's open up a business, let's do bread, or inspiration is let's start a podcast.
Mm-hmm.
And inspiration, like I said, is a living, breathing thing. So you need to nurture it and feed it. But if you don't, it's going to die,
Yeah.
or it's going to go find someone else
Totally.
to act on it. So do you guys feel like, how do I say this? Do you guys feel like the years that went by where you didn't act, it was the universe kind of giving you an opportunity? And was it, I like to say something like, the universe will like tap you on the shoulder, and then it will like hit your shoulder, and then it will give you like a 2x4 up the head.
Mm-hmm.
Did it get to that moment for you guys where it's like, okay, we just have to do this?
Yeah, absolutely. It was, I think, beginning of January, where it was literally something pretty close to being hit by a 2x4.
Yeah.
We've got a couple horses.
Oh, okay.
Jenna was involved in a bit of a horse bucking accident.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Shattered her ankle. So left her out of work for
3 months.
3 months,
Oh,
couldn't
wow.
walk, that
Yeah.
kind of thing. So that was a moment where she had a whole bunch of time to sit at home
Mm-hmm.
and think about, obviously, what am I doing?
Yeah.
What am I offering?
Mm-hmm.
What am I part of?
And I knew at that point I didn't want to go back to what I was doing.
Right.
It just wasn't feeding me in any sort of way.
Right.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And then the idea came up that, well, we talked about this so many times,
Right.
and we're in a position now where we could just make it happen.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we've got people behind us that if we, you know, we're not as successful as we'd like to be, like no matter what happens, we'll be fine. We'll be totally cool. Like having a support system of people behind you to tell you like, yeah, this is nuts. Yeah. But like, go do it.
But keep moving forward.
See what happens.
Yeah. That's so imperative, isn't it? To have that cheer squad, to have people that maybe don't fully understand what you're doing, but they believe enough in you, or they see how much it excites you and they're like, okay, well, I'm not going to get in the way of this.
Yeah.
So do you mind sharing who that is for you guys and give them a little shout out? Or is it close to your chest?
Well, no, of course it is. It's family, it's friends.
Friends.
It literally is nonstop.
Yeah.
I think it just continues as we opened, it just like continued. Like there's more people that we've had to reach out to like even just like the smallest thing or the largest thing to figure out here.
Right.
Have had to reach out to individuals that we don't even know. Jacob doesn't even know. And
some of my best friends are strangers.
Yeah.
Like 100%.
That's what I love about this podcast too, is I feel like right now we are creating a relationship and a bond. And I feel like that with so many people that I've sat down with that I didn't know, from an Instagram profile to a DM to a phone call or an email. And all of a sudden we're talking about, sure, like the fun, cool stuff, like on the surface, like what's your business? How does it work for you? All those things. But then I like to get a little bit deeper and learn more about those people. And it's amazing how your community can really grow that way. Yeah. And I consider it like a power circle, like people that are on the same wavelength and are kind of challenging the status quo. And I think you guys are doing that. You're challenging the status quo because you're doing something that statistically shows
crazy.
It's crazy, right?
Crazy. And a lot of people said that, like, don't do it.
Yeah.
Don't. What are you doing? Like,
so how do you two at night keep each other motivated, keep each other going after a tough day or a great day? Like, what is it that you guys are saying to each other or not saying? How do you come in each day and crush work at Lone Wolf?
I think it's kind of like the starting with why,
right?
Sort of idea. Before we opened the doors, we sat down and wrote out a business plan.
Right.
Not for the purpose of borrowing money, but for the purpose of like, maybe this is a good idea just to see why we're doing this.
Okay.
Because that's the basis of if we'll be successful or not.
Right.
Everything will sort of continue on from that idea.
Right.
And the why we're doing this is we think this is important. Not that bread is important, or not that croissants are important,
right?
But that offering something to your community, giving your community a place to come, feel comfortable. That's the why, and therefore there is like zero shortage of finding inspiration.
Yeah.
Because I mean, a lot of things don't work out.
Yeah.
On a daily basis.
Hourly.
Today being one of those days.
Yeah.
But it's fine. You just keep going.
Yeah.
And it was probably the hardest thing to do, to actually open the door the first day.
Right.
But it'll end up being one of the best things because now we can't close the door.
Yeah, exactly.
End of story. Like, people count on us.
Yeah.
People are holding us accountable. And I think that's where the motivation comes from.
Right.
Yeah.
Before we turn the mics on, we're closed now. It's past 4:00, so the shop is closed. But before we turn the mics on, a gentleman came in with his daughter, and they were rushing to go to a doctor's appointment. And he said to Jacob, we try to come in all the time, but you guys are always closed. So he comes in and he purchases a loaf of bread. When someone does that and they come in and they vote with their dollars, and they're voting with dollars here in your four walls, what does that mean to you? Jen, I'll ask you first.
Yeah, it's a huge honor. Like, we've talked about it many times. Like, it's such an honor to make it to someone's dinner table at night, or into someone's mouth as a pastry walking down the street.
Right.
Sorry.
It's all good.
Yeah, it's like an immense honor.
Cool.
Yeah.
And for you, Jacob?
Yeah, it feels really good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, do you feel it viscerally? Like when you're,
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll probably start crying a few times.
Yeah.
If we keep talking about it.
Yeah.
Like,
No, for sure.
It's important to me, for sure.
Yeah. That's what I love about, again, this industry. And I don't want to generalize here, but I'd say 100% of the people I've had on this show, they're doing it for something more than just a check or P&Ls. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You guys laugh because you're probably not making any money, but
I have no idea
what money is.
Yeah, I mean, Jenna takes care of that,
right,
and does a great job with it.
Yeah.
But everything we do from a business standpoint, I feel like people would look at it just like, that's a horrible idea.
Yeah.
But that's not what's driving this.
Exactly.
And so that's why there's no shortage of like, should we do this again today?
Right.
It's like, I can't not do it.
Yeah, I think, and I'll probably celebrate this a few times on this podcast for you guys, but that's how I know in the 15 minutes and 34 seconds we've been recording, I know that you guys, if you can hang on to that, will be successful, because it's not about selling a loaf of bread. It's beyond that. And you can sit here and say it's whimsical or it's silly, whatever, but that's totally up my alley and I love it. And it's the businesses that are doing something for a bigger cause than just selling a loaf of bread or a pair of shoes or a shirt, whatever it is. I think that is where you're seeing successful businesses go, more of a social play than just a business.
It's making
play.
that connection with the individuals in your community.
Yeah, for sure. Something I think is super unique to you guys is that the fact that you are a couple. So business partners, life partners, intimate relationship, business relationship. So Jacob, will ask you first, what has that been like for you since January opening up, and how has it changed the dynamic of the relationship for better or for worse?
I think it has definitely been for better.
Okay.
There's moments when I feel like, holy shit, like, was this a good idea?
Yeah.
But there's no one else I'd rather do this with.
Awesome.
For sure. It's probably a lot harder on Jenna than it is on me.
Why do you say that?
Because I'm the one in the back throwing things when things don't go well.
Okay.
Jenna does a very good job of containing me when I need to be.
Okay.
And no one else. I mean, she shouldn't put up with me, but
she
somehow does.
That's awesome. Yeah. And Jenna, how's it been for you dynamically in the relationship?
Yeah, I don't think much has changed
Okay.
within our relationship. I feel, if anything, it's made us stronger.
Yeah.
Which totally, there was handfuls of people that said, don't go into business with your...
Everyone.
Yeah.
Every single person.
Yeah, exactly.
Don't go into business with your partner.
Yeah.
And I think the statistic of people going into business that are partners is like 100% of the time they'll either like split the business or split up.
Split up, right.
So, but I mean, that nothing's stopping us.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I don't think it's really changed anything between us. Maybe I just am a little softer.
Yeah. You're softer since the business opened up?
To like absorb his frustrations.
Hardness?
Yeah, totally.
So you guys are kind of the yang to the yang.
Totally.
100%.
Has it always been that way?
Yeah.
Yeah, since you guys started dating?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And I think that's the only way it would work.
It has to.
If we were both yang all the time, there's no way.
Yeah, you can't both throw stuff because then we're giving stuff to throw, right?
And you can't both be sensitive.
No.
Yeah.
Or you wouldn't get anything done.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, it's a balance. And do you guys find it's you guys are naturally suited, your personalities, for the roles that you have within your business? Like Jenna, are you a front of house person through and through?
Definitely.
Yeah. And Jacob, put me in the back and let me just put my head down.
Yeah, that's my happy place.
Yeah.
I love coming out and talking to people.
Yeah.
That's also something that's super important to us. Everyone's, telling us to the wholesale and you got to get bread in here, and it just doesn't make any sense.
Okay.
We've made everything, and I want people to come in here. We've got nothing to hide.
Right.
It's an open book, and we want you to be part of it.
Yeah.
And we want to talk to you about what we're doing.
Right.
So I'm happiest in the back when I'm just crafting.
Right.
But I also get these amazing moments of coming out and greeting someone, talking to them about their day, and offering them something to their life.
That's cool. I love that.
That's pretty sweet.
If I open up a restaurant on the Sunshine Coast and I want to offer sourdough bread, and my chef, for the life of him, can't make sourdough bread, and I come to you and I say, I need X amount. Are you open to that? Is that something you would do?
Yeah, for sure.
And the reason I ask is because I think and I'm going to talk just back of house for a second, which is kind of your jam.
Mm-hmm.
I think there at times in this industry can be so many egos, and people aren't willing to say, okay, you know what? Lone Wolf makes better sourdough than we do. So I want to give my customers the best I can give them. So I'm going to drop my ego and go call up Jenna and Jacob and say, hey, can we do 12 loaves a day kind of thing?
Yeah.
And I've seen that recently in Vancouver, people being a little smarter and a little less ego driven and shopping around and being like, look, you make a rad, whatever it is, can we feature it on our menu?
Yeah.
The first one that comes to mind is Fife Bakery in Vancouver. They supply the bread, which is unreal, to Pepino's. It's a new... it used to be Nick's Spaghetti House, and they've revived it. It's the same team that opened up Salvia Volpe.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that team went in. Anyway, so it's an old school spaghetti house, but Fife is doing that bread. I just thought it was so cool that they could easily make their own bread. Like that team is talented enough to do that. But they've stepped out of their way and thought, you know what? It makes sense to allow someone else that's crushing it and doing a really good job. So is that something that you would see as a business getting into in the next like months or years is providing?
Absolutely. We've had a few people approach us.
Right.
At this point in time, we're still just kind of getting started here.
Right.
Getting equipment that works.
Right.
Buying equipment that doesn't work. Trying to work with it for a while, and then just being like, okay, this is not it.
Right.
Once we get all that stuff sorted out.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I mean, I would love to feed everyone on the Sunshine Coast bread.
Yeah.
At the moment, I think it'd be pretty tough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So just focus on these 4 walls for now.
Yeah. Yeah. For the next, we have a new oven coming in about 2 months.
Okay.
So once that's here, we'll be able to like triple our production in less time.
Oh, amazing.
So
very cool.
Yeah.
Talking about challenges, can you guys give me a list of like the top ones?
How much time you got?
Yeah, I got a ferry tomorrow morning. So, but no, what really sticks out? I mean, you mentioned the gear in the back and equipment being somewhat frustrating, kind of figuring out what works and what doesn't. Anything else that really sticks out that's been a major pain point or something you weren't expecting that is or has caused issues? As far as just like day-to-day operations of the business.
I think the fact that we have a bit of history in the industry.
Okay.
But neither of us come from a baking background.
Right.
I think just the actual like baking itself,
right,
at least for myself, is like it's an enormous challenge.
Yeah.
Things are coming together pretty well, but there's definitely days where it's like, you idiot, like
it's hairy.
You did not know what you're doing before you started this.
Right.
So that I think the challenge is just in sort of figuring out those, I guess the infrastructure of how we're going to do this repetitively, not, worked out really well today.
Right.
And tomorrow is like, consistency for the first couple weeks,
right,
which I think is pretty normal.
Yeah.
Pretty up and down. Hopefully a little more up than down.
Yeah.
So that's the biggest challenge, is just building that consistent base where people can trust that no matter what we're doing here, they can come and get something rad that they can't get anywhere else.
The science that's involved in baking, and especially sourdough, it can be very inconsistent, depending on like ambient temperature and water, all those things. So how do you, and again, I'm completely ignorant here, so please educate me and the listeners, like how do you mitigate those variables as best as possible?
By keeping a tab of everything that's happening.
Okay.
From water temperature to room temperature to ratios. Like there's standards.
Yeah.
The best part about baking right now is there's people have been doing it for a very long time.
Yeah.
And there are a lot of good people out there doing it that are more than willing to help out.
Mm-hmm.
And that's kind of why I said some of my best friends are strangers.
Yeah.
Because just like you, I just send them a message and be like, okay, this is what's happening. Do you have 10 minutes to talk?
Yeah.
Temperature of water, temperature of starter.
Okay.
Keeping a track of like how long I'm feeding my starter for, so that I now have that under control and the bread is more consistent.
Right.
How am I turning it? We don't take bread and put it on a table and knead it.
Oh, okay.
So it's basically stretching and folding and stretching and folding and letting it sit for a while and repeating those steps and just sort of building consistency by keeping a log.
Oh, okay.
Just like you would as an athlete.
Yeah.
You want to know if you're getting stronger.
Exactly.
The only way to do so is, what did you lift last week?
Yeah, test and retest.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah.
People walk into Lone Wolf Bakery. What do you want, Jenna? What do you want their experience to be like? Take me from the moment the door opens to the moment the door closes behind them. What do you want the user experience to be when they walk in this door and these four walls?
Yeah, I want them to feel that they've walked into our home.
Okay.
Yeah, and that we've like taken them in.
Yeah.
And they're, that's like the simplest way I can put it. But just that they're like taken care of. And if they don't really understand what we're doing, to like educate them on what we're offering. Mm-hmm. I feel living on the Sunshine Coast, there's a huge opportunity to teach the community what real bread is,
right?
Or even just like about coffee,
right?
And being able to educate, and just treating them as if they've walked into your home, and giving them a pleasant experience.
Right.
Yeah.
So if down the street, hypothetically speaking, there's another bakery, hypothetically, and I ask them the
There's
same.
Lots.
I know, it's crazy. And I ask them the same question. I say, what do you want that user experience to be? And they say to me, I want them to feel like they're walking into our home.
Yeah.
So how can you be different? What is the USP here? Let's talk like business terms. Like, what is different about Lone Wolf? What is really different about you guys and what you're doing here?
Well, I feel like they can get something here that they can't get over there.
Right.
In terms of even just the quality of what we're offering, in terms of pastries or bread or coffee.
Right.
But it really is the service that is unreplaceable. Mm-hmm. I can teach anyone how to make bread.
Right.
It's the level of care, and especially that's Jenna's gift.
Yeah.
That's her gift for sure. People come in and they feel like they're being given attention because they are.
Right.
So I think that's the thing that's irreplaceable.
Yeah.
We're not, standing at the till asking you what you want.
Right.
We're
Engaging.
standing there.
Yeah.
Talking to you about your day.
Right.
And not from a superficial level, but from welcome in, we give a shit about your life.
Yeah.
And that's why we're doing what we're doing.
How do you do that when it's a Saturday morning and you've got a lineup of 10, 15 people deep and they just want bread and they want it now, but they still want to be treated like, and they want to feel like they're in your home. So how do you, as the front of house rep for this business, how do you balance that between getting it to them quickly, but making them feel like, wow, like that was more than just me buying bread?
Well, I mean, it definitely helps if we're busy, Jacob is out there with me.
Right.
And we can kind of tag team. So I would take the first person, he'll take the next person,
right?
And so on and so on. And he can have that conversation with the second person in line while I'm having the conversation with that first person.
Oh, okay, cool.
So that first person doesn't feel like, okay, she's rushing me. Like, okay, I got to get out of here.
Yeah.
And then you can still engage with that person.
Yeah. The thing I love about, and my experience in the industry is front of house as well.
Yeah. Okay.
And what I always liken dealing with customers, dealing with guests as a dance. Mm-hmm. And some people want to it's all good, don't worry about it. Some people want to slow dance, and some people want to break it down. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? So it's recognizing in those people.
Or some don't want to dance at all.
Some don't want to dance at all. They want to look. They want to sit on the wall.
Totally.
Right?
I want that.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's totally knowing and feeling that in each person, what they want, and how they want to interact with you.
Yeah. So I think
it's super important.
Yeah, and I think that's for me the difference between you guys saying, I want you to feel like you're in our home, and the next person saying that, and the next person saying that. And the difference is having a team that has the awareness and the knowledge to really recognize in their customer that like this is what they need right now. They need this from me, so I'm going to give that to them. And it's so easy just to become an order taker, right?
Definitely.
And just kind of be passive. But I think that's the unique selling point in businesses that I like going to is they can tell when I'm in a rush, and they can tell when I want to be told about the bread and how it works and why it looks the way it looks and how to cut it and all those things. You know what I mean?
Totally.
Which I thought was cool. So Jacob was educating the gentleman on how to cut the bread, which a lot of people don't know, but he took the time to do that. And the guy was open to it. A term you used or word you used when you were describing your answer to my original question was educate. How do you guys bridge the gap between educating and preaching, whether it's to your family about the bread that they used to buy or to your customers that come in and say, why is it this expensive? If someone does say that.
We've only had a few.
Which is great because it opens up a conversation.
Right.
I think it's being open to that idea and not being offended. So
Okay.
it's sort of that idea of, leave your ego.
Yeah, 100%.
Because if someone's asking you a question, they probably want an answer. And it's our responsibility to give them one.
Right.
As business owners, we've asked them to come in here and trust us. And here's why. It's not just trust us. It's fine.
Yeah.
It's fine. Just pay for the bread. And
Yeah, exactly.
Like who cares about the ingredients? Just eat the bread.
Yeah.
And the preaching part, I'm not really interested in it.
Okay.
I really like conversation.
Yeah.
So I think there's definitely been times in my life when maybe I wanted to preach about things.
Yeah.
But it's just not a good way of like
Right.
having dialogue. It doesn't
Right.
create dialogue.
Yeah.
It more than likely just builds walls.
Right.
So be open to the idea that not everyone's going to like what you do. And if you're doing something that really matters, that's the way it should be.
Yeah.
But don't be offended by it because it's all right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You got to have thick skin, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure.
How would you describe, if you could, the demographic you guys have had in here since opening? Is it super varied? Is it a big net of people, or is it you kind of know who's coming in, what they look like, what their background is, or is it all over the map?
I would say it's pretty all over the map.
Yeah.
Yeah. We definitely have a set group of individuals that are like repeat customers day in and day out.
That's pretty cool.
That we have gotten to know by name.
Right.
And then there's definitely tourists that walk in the door as well, and demographic meet like even like kids to elderly people.
Yeah.
So it's pretty wide reaching.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. Lots of like Europeans on the coast that are, ask if they can feel the bread.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Because they've basically been looking for bread since they left Europe and moved here. So we have those people that are super excited that we're here. We definitely have some people when we've, got 2 loaves of bread left that walk in and are super confused.
Right.
As to what we even
like,
offer.
What do you guys do here?
Yeah.
Or people coming in and it's like so sparse.
Yeah.
It's like, well, not always, but I get it.
Yeah.
And people that work downtown coming in, we're definitely here for our community.
Yeah.
We don't really have signage up, so it's a little hard to find us.
Right.
But to us, that's kind of
cool.
the point too.
I like that.
Some of the best places I've ever worked in had no signage at all.
Yeah.
And you either know or you don't, but more than likely you know because someone told you about it.
Yeah.
And told you it was worth driving around the block 4 times to find the place.
Yeah.
So that's it just goes back to the idea that we want to earn your trust.
And
the best way to do that is have your friend tell you
to
come
totally
here.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Talking about marketing and branding and all those things, what is in a name? Why Lone Wolf? As they smile at each other.
There's a lot of things. I think both of us, for a big portion of our lives, have felt like lone wolves.
Okay.
Even though we've always had this sort of community behind us. Especially for myself, I didn't know that for a long time. We love wolves. Most dog or even four-legged creatures to begin with.
Right.
And also the idea that we're stepping away from what we think the pack is doing. And now it's not to say that everyone belongs to that pack of people we're stepping away from. There's a growing community of people that are waking up to the idea of building things through quality, making decisions based upon what you're trying to provide versus how much money I can make doing it.
Right.
We're definitely part of that community. So we could go into it for hours and hours, but it definitely is that we're leaving the pack. The Sunshine Coast in particular, there's a lot of things that are really easy to do, a lot of easy choices, but the customer suffers because of those choices.
Right.
Let's make things faster. Let's bring in cheaper products.
Right.
But the people that you're counting on to support you are the ones that suffer.
Yeah.
And therefore, in turn, you suffer as well.
Yeah.
And that just never made sense to us. But something that we noticed time and time again. So that was a very clear decision to step away from that path.
Like to step outside the norm of what's going on the Sunshine Coast.
Yeah, totally. I think even just being a couple and opening up a business, you're stepping outside of the norm. I consider you guys 2%.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I consider like 90% of people would never do that.
Yeah.
But there's a 2%. And that's who I want to, again, talk about, like who I want to be around. Those people want to be around. I want to be around people that challenge me to make better bread, to have better service. And not because I want to be better than someone else. No. It's because I want to be the best version of myself as I possibly can. And so help me, help me learn.
To offer these people better things, just better service, better product that they didn't even know existed. Yeah. Because it's like you step on that ferry and it's kind of like you go back in time.
Yeah, you're saying,
and a lot of businesses can get away with it because we're such a tourist destination. Yeah. So these people are never going to come back to your spot, or maybe they do, but they probably aren't. Yeah. So then we knew we didn't want to be that type of business. Right.
And we knew that by being what we wanted to be, that can grow as well, and that can spread. Right.
Just like upping the standards.
Yeah.
The amount of people that come in and are like inspired, like they use the word, I'm so inspired that you guys did this. And that's the beauty of it. Yeah. And that's where it becomes more than a coffee or a loaf of bread or whatever else we provide. Yeah. We're truly trying to build a stronger, happier, more fulfilled community.
Healthier?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you can't do that without sort of stepping away.
Yeah.
And kind of giving your head a bit of a shake.
Right.
And maybe that's what the last sort of 15 years were like, that constant tap.
Yeah. Yeah.
Not yet. You're not ready yet. Like it's just an idea.
Right.
Go and experience things, work for people that have this ethos as well.
Yeah.
I know that's any success I have is based upon the people I've worked with.
Oh yeah.
That have taught me to give a shit. Like plain and simple.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's not about money. There's way easier ways to make money.
Oh, exactly. Way easier.
This is crazy.
Yeah. For me, it's the same. I feel like I always say to Lindsay, my partner, like I will build us an empire, but it's not about the nice car I'm going to buy us, or the cool trips going to take us on, or the meals we're going to have in Europe. Those are all really cool things, but that's not what it's about. Yeah. It's about facilitating change.
Totally.
It's about the people that have taught me stuff and given me an opportunity to learn to facilitate that for someone else. Yeah. And like you said, inspire someone else. That to me is where, excuse me, like the juice is worth the squeeze. Yeah. Right. Like it's great that you can afford to live. It's great that you can afford to do all these things and to provide for your family. But the beauty lies in inspiring other people and creating opportunity for other people. And again, going back to what I said, that's where I think business is now. Sole proprietorships, entrepreneurs are truly seeing growth and expansion and abundance is when they align with a cause bigger than a product or a service.
Yeah. Yeah, because products are easy to replace.
Exactly. It's commodity, right?
Yeah. That's the simple part. It's where are you coming from? Like, where is your heart? What are your intentions here?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think people can see through that. I think, especially now, because there's so much out there as far as opportunities for people to see what you do and get exposed to the brand before they even set foot in the door.
Yeah.
So you have to be on your game as much as you possibly can. Going back to your point, Jacob, about your friends saying you got to go check the spot out. Mm-hmm. If you guys miss a beat, then guess what? They're not coming in. Their friends aren't coming in. They're not coming in again. All those things. So it's so imperative. This industry, as I say in the intro, is the most dynamic industry. And I truly believe that of all industries in the world.
Yeah.
I think it's the most dynamic industry because you have a brief moment to make a really big impact, right? Yeah. And whether it's the service they receive or the bite they take.
Totally.
Do you know what I mean? So you better bring your A game. And if you trip up, be like, hey, you know what? We messed up, but give us another shot, and I guarantee it's gonna be better.
I threw out 2 dozen croissants this morning for that reason.
Oh, really?
And it's not the first time it's happened.
Right.
But because it's not based on, did we lose money?
The dollar,
I couldn't care less. We didn't actually.
Right.
It might look like we did today.
Right.
But that's not why we're here. I want people to know that they come here and they get something consistent, something that I'm not going to serve anyone anything I won't eat.
Yeah.
So it's just one of those things. You fall, you trip.
Yeah.
And we're not hiding it. People come in and oh, you don't have this today. No,
we messed up.
Yeah.
Screwed it.
Yeah. No, I love that. Yeah. And I love that. If someone's that open, be like, damn, these guys actually care. Instead of like some fake story about, like the chocolate didn't show up or some bullshit.
Which is so easy to say.
Exactly.
But just, it's not where we're coming from. It's not what we do.
Yeah.
I screw up. It happens.
Yeah. Own it.
But it'll make me better. I know that. So, yeah.
The show is called the Half a Dozen Hospitality Podcast. So I have for you guys the half a dozen have-tos. So what I need from both of you, I need 3 each because there's 2 of you, so you kind of get off easy.
Okay.
Nice.
I need 3 recommendations for the listeners, 3 things you've each experienced in your lives that you feel like the listeners have to do. So whether it's a trip you've taken, a meal you've eaten, a movie you've seen, shoes you bought, tattoo you've gotten, something that you've done in your life that you think the listeners have to do.
3 things.
You can go one for one, go back and forth if you want, punch it out.
Okay. So one of my 3 would, and this might be one of Jacob's as well, but
that's cool.
Then he'll have to come up with another one.
yeah, exactly.
Definitely eating pasta at La Quercia.
Oh yeah,
in Vancouver.
Awesome! Shout out La Quercia.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
amazing.
Life changing.
Amazing food there.
Yes.
And service as well.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, truly make you feel like you're in someone's home.
Oh, at home. Yeah.
So if you're listening and you're local in the BC market or in Vancouver, go check out La Quercia for sure. Amazing dinner. And don't order something. Let them curate the meal for you.
That was going to be mine.
Yeah.
that would literally be a have to, is go to a restaurant and ask them to cook for you.
Right. Don't you look at the menu.
Period. Yeah.
And that's how we eat.
Yeah.
Especially like coming from a kitchen background.
Yeah.
When we go to a place where I know the guys, girls, people in the kitchen love what they do, let them express that to you.
Yeah, it's fun too, right? For you guys in the back of the house, it's fun to do that.
Love it. Yeah.
Jenna, back to you already.
Number 2.
Can be anything. A book you've read, a movie you've watched, a trip you've taken, anything. A tattoo artist you like, whatever.
Go surfing.
Go surfing?
Go surfing.
That's
anywhere?
I mean, ideally, you'd go somewhere where you only need to wear like shorts.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
You don't have to pull on your wetsuit.
A wetsuit, but anywhere. Get in the water, talk to God.
Yeah. What about surfing for you?
I don't know. That's just for someone who's super busy, super active.
Yeah.
It's one of those few moments in my life where nothing is happening but this very simple thing that's happening. You're just like, you're convening with the most natural thing in the world. Yeah. And if you're not convening with it,
she's a beast.
You'll know.
Yeah. She'll let you know real quick.
Yeah.
No, I don't necessarily like the like statement flow state, but I find anytime I've been in the water on a surfboard, it's just like, like you said, you don't think of anything else. For me, I grew up playing hockey, and whenever I step onto the ice, like there's nothing I think about. Nothing like family, money, anything. Nothing. It's just that moment, which is it's so unique. And you can't bring your cell phone in the ocean, right? You can't Instagram it. If you can, you're probably doing it wrong.
100%.
But yeah, no, I totally.
You can't control it.
Yeah,
you
exactly.
You just have to like allow it to
happen.
You've got to give 100%.
In. Yeah. It's a great, it's a great kind of analogy for life, I think.
Yes. Yeah.
That's why we're here.
Right.
That's 100% why we're here.
The ocean.
We gave in.
The ocean.
Jenna, back to you.
I would have to, I would say spend an hour with a horse.
Spend an hour with a horse. Yes. Okay, that's a first on the show. Very cool. We've had spend a day with a pig before.
A pig.
Yeah, one of my vegan guests. Shout out Lauren Toyota in Toronto. She's at Hot for Food. She is a vegan. She's an author, and one of hers was spend a day with a pig. But yours is spend an hour with a horse,
or a day,
or
a week,
okay,
or
cool.
your life.
What is it about? What is it about horses for you?
The connection.
Okay.
Yeah. They're so well. They show you a lot about yourself.
Okay.
And very similar to the ocean. You can't hide from them.
Okay.
Yeah. So they're almost like a mirror for you.
Very cool.
Yeah.
A very big, muscular, hairy mirror.
Yeah. But at the same token, they're like a dog.
Right.
Yeah. They're just like a big dog.
Right.
Yeah.
Very cool.
If you're gentle, they're gentle.
Right.
But if you're wild and angry, they'll get wild and angry. Like they just really just mirror what's happening with you. Yeah. You
don't find that a lot in your day-to-day ongoings as you walk through this life where stuff's mirroring you, right? So very cool.
Yeah.
Jacob, back to you. This will be your last one.
Ooh.
No pressure.
Yeah, no kidding.
But literally no pressure. It can be like as chill as you want it to be. It can be like eat homemade popcorn. It can be try to make bread. It can be bake a croissant, whatever you want.
I'd say make dinner for your family.
Okay.
Yeah.
What are you cooking for your family if you're making dinner tonight?
Roast chicken.
Okay.
Potato puree.
Okay.
Yeah. Some local mushrooms.
Okay.
Yeah. Nice and simple.
Like it.
Yeah.
I love me some roast chicken. Jenna, back to you. Last one.
Last one. Oh man. Well, growing up on the water, surfing, yes, but even just like putting your feet in the water.
Yeah.
I feel like untouchable. And for someone who didn't grow up on the water,
right,
they might not necessarily like know how magical water is. But yeah, just getting into the water, feeling the water and feeling the like temperature of the water. And the West Coast is pretty amazing.
Yeah, it's gorgeous.
And yeah, I would say I have to just get in the water. And I feel like a lot of adults are actually scared of the water if they've never been in the ocean.
Yeah.
Like water maybe not, but the ocean per se.
Yeah, the ocean's a bit of a beast.
Yeah, totally.
She's a beast.
Like deep, vast.
Dark.
Yeah.
A lot of stuff not going, like a lot of stuff you don't know going on down there.
Yeah.
Pretty well everything.
Everything.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. What do they call that? Is it, I think it's biophilia. Okay. Where you like earthing, like take your shoes off, take your socks off, and just like get in dirt or get in the ocean. I love that. And
any substance that has a little bit of moisture.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
You guys did well with that. Congratulations. And we had a unique one with the horse. We haven't had that before on the show. The last one I have for you is same kind of theme. So putting you on the spot again, but it's the half a dozen haven't yet. So things you haven't experienced yet that you want to experience in life. You both are pretty youthful still. You got a lot of time ahead of you if everything goes well. So with the time that you have left, what are 3 things from each of you that you haven't done that you want to share with the listeners that you want to do? And we'd love to hold you accountable too, by the way.
Oh, yes.
Sweet.
Oh, this is much. I feel like this is easier.
Okay.
Have to. I would say go to Loon.
Loon?
Loon.
What is Loon?
Croissanterie.
Okay.
Yeah.
Where is Loon?
Australia.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
So voted best croissant in the world.
Wow.
Yeah. So that would definitely be on the list.
What makes it the best?
I'm
Not sure.
not sure. I've never tried.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What have you heard makes it the best?
The crumb, the crust, like the layering.
Flavor.
She's I think she was an architect.
An engineer.
Engineer, worked on like race cars.
Oh, dope.
And then lived in Paris for a bit, left Paris, and now she engineers croissants.
Dope. I like that.
Apparently very well.
Yeah. Amazing. Cool. So Loon. Shout out Loon.
Loon. Yeah.
Skydive.
Skydive.
Real
Okay.
simple.
Yeah.
Go flying.
Are you doing tandem or are you doing it just Jacob in a backpack full of fabric?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Backpack.
Dope.
Yeah. Just jump out of a plane with a backpack on.
If you guys don't, if you guys don't follow Trevor Jacob on Instagram, follow Trevor Jacob on Instagram. He's a like extreme sport guy, and his messaging is amazing. Like if you want to get inspired, just life. And he posted a video yesterday, hot air ballooning, and then a rope that was attached to the bottom of the hot air balloon jumped out of the hot air balloon, swung on the rope, and then just let it go. And just all the way down until last minute, and then just pulled out the chute. Yeah. I actually just got like a little bit hot and sweaty just talking about that.
Oh my goodness.
So yeah, check him out. Super inspiring guy.
Sweet.
Back to you.
Have tos.
Haven't yet.
Yeah. Okay. Free diving.
Free diving.
Like deep,
ooh, yeah, that freaks me out.
Deep free diving.
How deep? Talking meter, like 100 meters?
100 meters.
Wow.
At least. Like, I don't know. I just like go into the depths of the ocean.
Do you have, is it called like iron lung, or is that what happens when you?
I think that's what happens when you
you don't
do it
want
too
that.
fast.
You don't want iron lung.
Do not want
Okay, so you don't, don't want an iron lung. What's the deepest you've ever?
Oh, not very far.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So I love to hold people accountable, and you've got listeners and viewers watching. Can we hold you accountable to like a date where you'll like at least experiment with this? You're not busy now, right?
No, not at all.
The answer is yes.
The answer, of course, is yes.
Yeah.
2021.
2021. Okay.
By 2021.
We will do another podcast or a few more between now and then. That'd be awesome. And then check in to see how that experience was for you. And no iron lung.
No.
Crossing our fingers. No iron lung. Jacob, back to you.
Dinner at Noma.
Ooh, yeah.
Pretty simple, but I think pretty life altering.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Can you do that? When will you do that? When will you do that?
Before he decides to close. I mean, I feel like he's
even if they close, they'll reopen.
Well, reopen something somewhere. Yeah.
I'd say a year from now.
Okay.
Yeah, I could probably take more than one day off.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So we'll check in August.
Fall of.
So August, September 2019.
Yeah.
Dope. Last one, Jenna.
Okay.
I love the thought you guys put into this. Most people just like rhyme off random stuff. Like
deep people here.
No, I like it, man. This is totally my jam.
Well, in 2010, Jacob and I went running on the top of some mountains just outside of Squamish.
Okay.
We were dropped off via helicopter.
Oh, wow.
Amazing experience.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Not legal, I don't think.
No, I don't think so.
Who's helicopter?
We won't name names.
No comment.
Right. Okay. You guys just know dudes with helicopters.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we were dropped off and went mountain running in the snow.
Oh, wow.
On top of these mountains. I feel like it'd be amazing to actually get there by ourselves.
Oh, like trek it up.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And do not the same thing, of course, but something similar to that.
Okay. I like that.
Yeah.
What about that appeals to you or appealed to you, and then to do it again, but just a little bit different?
I feel like getting there solo, like getting there by ourselves, not in a helicopter, would be an amazing experience to actually like trek out there, either with skis or a snowboard on our back, and actually like have runners in our backpack and like do the whole thing, versus just like bloop, okay, here you are, now go running. And so that like just the extremeness of it appeals. And the having to get there without the aid of other things. But like during the experience, I felt just like so free. And we were running on mountains that I don't even know if people have ever been on.
That's so cool.
Yeah. And in like deep snow, like 2 feet of snow, it was crazy. But so to do something similar to that.
Cool. How about this? You guys do that, and I'll crew for you.
Okay.
Give me your buddy's name with the helicopter. We'll pick up your snowboards and we'll helicopter back down. I'll GoPro it somehow, some way with the helicopter. Last one, Jacob.
I've had a pretty blessed life.
That's awesome, man.
Gotten to do a lot of things I wanted to. Maybe spend a couple overnight trips in the Rockies on our horses.
Oh, okay. Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Very cool. Yeah. Would they be game for that? Would they like that?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
What kind of horses?
We've got 2 standard breds and a young standard bred quarter horse.
Okay.
Yeah.
Names?
Healy is the oldest.
Yeah.
And then Freya.
Okay.
And then Ostera. And Ostera was actually just born at the end of March.
Oh, really cool.
Yeah.
So cool. What, did you guys witness it?
No.
Surprise.
Funny story.
Oh, really?
This is a whole other podcast.
Yeah.
Oh, the birthing of Ostera is a whole other podcast.
Yes.
Wow. Yeah, it was a surprise. Yeah. No one knew she was pregnant.
Yeah.
Do you ever hear those stories where like human beings say that? Like, I didn't know I was pregnant and like I gave birth in a Walmart. I don't know if I believe that stuff.
My goodness.
Well, it happened to us.
It happened to us.
Was this horse not looking at you like, hey, psst, I'm pregnant?
In retrospect now?
Oh, totally.
Right.
Yeah.
So many.
But like was not showing.
So many signs.
No one. I mean, we've got horse friends.
Right.
That we're just kind of like, I mean, she looks a little chubby, but we can work that off in the spring.
Right.
It'll come off.
Came down one morning and there was a horse.
Wow.
In the stall with her.
It's like Christmas comes early.
It was Christmas.
2 for 1.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
You guys are rocking some very appropriate and specific t-shirts.
Mm-hmm.
For those that are listening and not viewing, explain to the listeners what these t-shirts are and what they mean to you guys.
So they're all beaches on the Sunshine Coast. So Bonnybrook, Roberts Creek, Davis Bay, Porpoise Bay, and Thormanby. They're all pretty special beaches. Like they're very magical, very secluded. So it's just like I would say a nice list of like beaches where the locals would go, I guess.
Right.
Yeah.
Places you got to check out when you come here.
Yeah. Definitely.
And just an opportunity to represent where we live.
So cool.
Yeah.
Before we wrap up, I want to take a moment to, again, thank you guys so much for inviting me into your space. I say this on most podcasts and I mean it from the bottom of my heart. I appreciate you guys making time and space for me and supporting my project. And I look forward to supporting you guys, both with this podcast and telling my friends about what you guys do. And I want to celebrate you guys for doing it for more than just a loaf of bread or a croissant, and for pushing the envelope and doing things that are different and making yourselves populate that 2%. And I don't feel like from you guys that's at all ego driven. And I don't feel like from you guys that at all is elitist. I feel like it comes from your hearts. And I consider myself to be a pretty good judge of character. And I feel super blessed that you guys gave me this time. The most valuable thing we have in our lives is time.
100%.
So thank you so much for yours.
Thanks for coming in.
Yeah,
really
thanks
appreciate
for
it.
having us on your
And
podcast.
yeah, no, my absolute pleasure. I can't wait for your dad to watch it.
Right.
And your mom to
when is
listen.
it coming on?
Yeah. So speaking of which, we'll have this out as soon as possible. What we'll do is I'll send you guys all the media in an email format, and you can share it with your followers, and I'll blast it out on mine as well. Speaking of which, if people want to get in touch, people want to support you, how can they best do that?
So we are on Facebook as Lone Wolf Bakery, and Instagram as Lone Wolf Bakery as well. So lone_wolf_bakery on Instagram. We have a website, lonewolfbakery.ca. You can drop us a line on there.
And we're in downtown Seashell.
Yeah.
Downtown Seashell. Address?
5641. We're hidden, but it's worth the trip.
It's a destination.
Yes.
If you guys have never visited Sunshine Coast, please do yourselves a favor and get up here. There are many, many, many great businesses and great entrepreneurs, and I feel lucky again to have an opportunity to come into your business and showcase and highlight what you guys are doing. So thanks again so much for coming on the podcast. And as always, thank you guys for listening and tuning in week after week and supporting my project. Anything else you guys want to add before we end it off?
Be good to each other.
Yeah.
Yeah, cool. You kind of stole my line. Until next week, guys, be good and do good. That's it. We're done.
Awesome.
Thanks, Steve. That was awesome. Thank you.
Appreciate it.